Good morning, everyone. I want to take a few more minutes just to make sure if there's someone who's a minute or two late that we can get them in on this as well. So let's take just a minute. So you all should be able to see my screen now. Close a couple windows here. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for attending. I know you all are very busy and you're taking time out of your morning to sit and watch as I go through onboarding. So to begin, onboarding, everyone, we do onboarding in some type of way in terms of, on getting new employees onto into your business. Onboarding through iSolved, our goal is to make it an automated process that will make things easier for the employees and the employers, saving your time with getting their information into the system seamlessly and easily. Now during the time of COVID, it's very important to make sure we can, if you've got any people that are working from home or remotely, that we can get information to them and they can get started with your business without even leaving their home. They can fill out all their information, it goes directly into the system without even needing them to come in. So it's very important, especially now, and of course it was before, to automate this process and to keep it seamless and make sure that onboarding those employees is successful and keeping compliant, especially now during this time, getting everything electronic so that it's easier to send things to employees, get them to fill things out, uploading documents, things like that. So today we're going to go through and I'm going to show you what it looks like on the employee side to do the onboarding process, and then what it will look like on your side to approve the information that they've entered and add anything, like their salary, things like that, to get them into your system. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my email and click on here. As you can see, we've got, this is the first thing that they'll see. I've just got a test employee here. I named them test. So it's basically just telling them welcome and congratulations on the new employment and that they're going to electronically complete the new hire paperwork. So they will click on this link, and this username here is their email address, and they will create the password once they've clicked on that. So I'm going to click on this link here, and this is going to take me, it looks like I was already logged in, so it's going to log me out here. Let's try that again. Okay, so since I've already created this login, I'm just going to use my email address and the password already created, and I'm going to get into the system. Now, obviously you see multiple here, you won't see that, and the employees won't see that because I've been a test employee. So I'm going to go through and click on my test employee. So before we get started on showing the employee side, as an administrator, as payroll processors, just managers of your system, owners of your business, anything, you kind of want to look at your current process. see what am I currently doing? How am I currently getting employees their information? How am I currently getting, the paperwork from them? Do you have stacks of paper just laying around that you are tired of looking at? Going through all of that, is that a hassle for you? Are you taking a lot of time getting all that stuff processed, reading through it, collecting that information from employees? I know that's difficult too, having them fill things out, especially if you have employees who are on different schedules than you. Sometimes you have employees who work midnights and maybe the office is not in at that time. Looking at that process is important to deciding, if onboarding is right for you. So what can we do to eliminate all that time? Onboarding is the electronic onboarding is definitely for you if you've had some of those headaches in the past. So while you are evaluating, what you do, what you're currently doing, how much time it's taking you, you also want to look at the experience that you're giving your employees, your new employees. If they have a bad first impression of your business, maybe it was really difficult for them to get all their information to you. I know right now turnover is very, can be high at times. So it's very important just to kind of give new employees a good experience. Something that we, that you can also do as well is maybe just ask any recent new hires, how was your experience? And maybe get some honest feedback from them to see how their experience was starting with your company. So you really want to think about, your company culture and employee retention, as well as, getting rid of all those stacks of paper and really just saving yourself time. So, I jumped the gun a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to log out here. The first thing we do when starting the onboarding process is, as the admin, you want to initiate that onboarding email. So you will go into the system and you will send that onboarding email to them, and then they will get the one that I just clicked on and showed you. So you're going to go to initiate onboarding here. And what you're going to do is you'll pull in your legal company and also the work location. So I'm just going to pull in Illinois, but if you have different, if you're different locations, this is important because it pulls in the taxability for the work location. And then here you can also pull in the onboarding template. So we can create multiple templates for your company. So say you have different jobs, roles. If you need to collect different information from different types of employees, that's important to know, because we can select different types of templates. We can create those for you, so that way you can send those to the different types of employees you have. You can enter their information here. And the only information you need to start off with is their name and email address. There's other information to ask, their birthday, social, hire date, things like that you don't actually need to begin onboarding. So, get your division, department, all that kind of stuff. We have included WOTC certification. I won't get into too much of that, but essentially it's a type of tax credit based on employee information. So if your state requires that, then it can be entered and sent to the state. But if you have questions on that, you can definitely reach out to your account manager. You can also pull in, if they're going to have a manager or supervisor, you can pull that in here. And then you're going to save that information. And it looks like you can see I have used this email before. So I'm just going to say yes, I can initiate onboarding. It's not the same person. So then that saves complete, and that's what sends it to the employee. So then what we'll do is we'll go and you'll click on that email that we saw earlier with the link, and it will take us, and we will, it'll ask us to make our password, which I've already created. And then we are going to log into the system and do that test. Whoops, no, wrong one. I apologize. Got too many here. There we go. Okay. So from here, we will be completing the onboarding. So the first section here, you have your welcome message. So this is important because this is the first thing that your new employees will see. So you want to try to engage them with a warm welcome before they even step in the doors. So this can get them excited about working for you and get them ready to go. So we usually say if you send it a few days before they've started, then you have all their information already collected and they're ready to go as soon as they walk into your door on the first day. You're not messing with, wasting that first day with them reading handbooks or reading anything like that, filling out direct deposits, all that stuff. So right here we have the documents section. So here you can put anything like an employee handbook, an employee conduct policy. Here at higher level, we have a baby in the workplace. So these two documents, we have made it where the employee has to acknowledge that they've read it. So they can't just actually click on this. As you can see, they must view the document first. So they would have to click on this document. It would pop up in another tab here, and it would populate. See, it's pulling in the download there. We don't necessarily have to read that. So I'm going to click that I've acknowledged that. And then the same thing would happen here. The forms, this area right here are forms that you want them to fill out that you can make fillable. So you can customize a fillable form and the employee fills this out. And once they have filled it out, it is stored electronically in the system. So what forms do you have that, can be made fillable? So like this example, this is a higher level, a direct deposit authorization. So that's an example of something that would be made fillable here. We also have an area for links. So, you can put your website there. If you have any benefits offering, like if you want them to go to your benefits provider's website, you can also put like a welcome video. So if you wanted to create a welcome video and say, hey, thanks for joining our team, all that good stuff, they can have this here, and this takes them to an external website. So then after I was done with this, I would hit next. And they'll begin entering their information. So their name is already there, but they could enter their address, zip code, and this will help also generate taxability. The system will know according to that address. Then they'll put in their social security number, their marital status. And again, this is very customizable. So we can make it where certain things are required. So, obviously we have marital status is required, birth date, military status, but those things don't necessarily have to be. So this is very customizable. There's no cookie cutter experience with this. We can make it be anything you would like it to be. So I'm just going to put something in here. And as I'm going, you can see that the green check marks are appearing, and then we have an orange exclamation point. So what the orange means is that there's still something left to be done on this field here. And the green check marks mean that this is completed. So that way the employee will know, hey, I need to do this still, I don't need to do this, because they can come back in. They can say something came up, they can stop and come back in and finish. So then they would just fill out their information. And then now we've got, I'm sorry here, on the EEO self-identification. So compliance is very important, obviously nowadays, and it always has been, but this will help you be compliant and seamlessly collect this information. So there are some types of reports that businesses are required to keep for 7 years, and we keep that information in the system. So having this be compliant makes things easier for you. There's no question. You know that these things are important and that we need those, and that through the system we can collect all that information. So on the I-9 certification, this is very important. So they'll put in their information, anything that's required. And oh, this is for test, that's right. Testers. So you would enter all their information here, and they would even have a signature down here. So this form will generate once they have filled out all their information, and it will validate the form here. This will hold up in court and is compliant, so you don't have to worry about, well, even if they fill it out electronically, it's not going to be, it's not going to be, if we get audited, well, this will suffice for that. So there's no worries on that end. So the next screen is the tax information screen. So this has already recognized my address here. So it's just saying that this is what I've submitted. This is the modified address. So we'll start here. This is essentially a wizard within a wizard. So it's really nice because I know a lot of clients contact us, maybe employees have questions on how to fill out the tax forms, and the clients aren't necessarily sure. Well, this is great because it kind of alleviates some of those questions. It's a lot more simple, and it asks some simple questions. I would want to continue in English, and helps the employees to fill this form out, because once they have completed the questions for the federal and Illinois forms, it will produce that paperwork. So we're going to hit start here. Are you non-resident alien? No. Are they exempt? Are they not exempt? Most people are not exempt. So then we would select that. They could select the filing status. And again, it's just very basic questions. And like I said, it just alleviates some of that confusion from the employees. If they want to also, they can view the actual form. And as a lot of you know, in 2020, the W-4 was changed drastically. It's a lot different than it used to be. So some people, even if they filled one out 2019 and before, they might not know how to fill out the 2020 and 2021 form just because of how different it is. So we'll go back to the wizard. So they'll just continue to answer those questions. No, I don't want to claim any dependents. I don't have any additional income. So it's very easy. So under penalties of perjury, declare the certificate specifying knowledge and belief is true, correct, and complete. And then they will enter the last 4 digits of their social security number, and they will hit submit. So you can see that the form has been submitted, and I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see better, kind of, that the information populates on this form here. Okay. So it definitely, once they have filled this out, all of this tax information will flow straight into payroll. And this form, again, it's valid to use and it holds up in court, just like the I-9 we spoke about. So this definitely improves the process and saves you a lot of time with not being as confusing as a normal form. So we would hit continue. And then they would go on to their state form here, whatever state that is. So I'm just going to next through that. My internet is having some difficulties. Okay, now it says my audio connection's restored. Okay. Okay, so the next screen would be your employee contacts. So here you could add, they could add their emergency contacts, anything like that. This is important for kind of benefits management, for the beneficiaries, things like that. You could have them enter prior employment, any certifications that they have, any previous education if that's important to you. And then you can also have them update a direct deposit. So you could hit, they would just hit add new, they would enter their information here. If you don't necessarily want to require them, they have a direct deposit, then we don't have to require that. We can require that they have the direct deposit. So right now this is a green check mark. These are because they're not required, but we can make that where they have to have that in order to continue. So we also have miscellaneous fields here, and we can add anything you want. So if you want them to put their driver's license number, any immunizations that they've had, t-shirt size, maybe their favorite dessert. I know here at higher level, we celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. So if they maybe, oh, I like chocolate cake. Well, then they probably are going to get pretty excited because they think, oh, hey, I'm going to get a t-shirt and, you know, I might get cake at some point. So, you know, we also do charitable giving here as well. So you could have anything here, very customizable. So then we have where they can upload any supporting documents. So they can upload things like their 2 forms of ID for the I-9, even though they still have to be verified in person, but they will, by uploading them, digital copies are kept in their profiles. They can upload the voided checks here as well, copy of their driver's license, anything like that that you have required for them. Also, if you want them to upload scans of their maybe CPR certifications, things like that. So we just hit next. And from here, you can see the information that has been filled out. So if the employee goes all the way through, you're like, okay, what do I still need to finish? It tells you what screens still have need action. Otherwise, from here, you would see a submit button. And then once they have submitted, then an email will be sent to the whoever will be approving the onboarding that they've done and adding in their salary, things like that, then that email will be sent to them for approval. So I am going to log out and I'm going to enter through the admin side so you guys can see what that looks like. Okay, so I'm pretending here to be Daniel Adams, and I'm going to switch from my employee view to my manager view so that way I can see. I have done one, I did one previously, so that way we can see what that onboarding will look like. So the first place we're going to go to is we're going to go to the pending EE dashboard. And as you can see, this is a test site. We've had many different tests. So you can see there what their status is. So like this one isn't started. Employee onboarding wizard, so they probably clicked on the link. This one here, so once it says that, then we can actually complete that. So I'm going to check that box. And you have a couple options up here. So we can either do quick hire, new hire wizard, or delete. So maybe say if you needed to delete it, they started their onboarding and then they decided they didn't want to work there anymore, you could just delete that out of the system. So from quick hire to new hire wizard, they're essentially, the end is the same thing. I prefer the new hire wizard because I like the wizard and going through step by step. The quick hire will show you everything on one screen. So I'm just going to click on quick hire so that way you can see what that looks like. And then here, this is where you're going to enter, you know, if they're full-time, part-time, things like that, because you don't want the employee to be receiving or, you know, to enter that information themselves. This here, include a new hire report, you want to keep that checked, but I'm going to uncheck it since this is not a real new hire. You would scroll down. It's really nice too, because even though you're completing their onboarding process, once you have saved this, they will receive a self-service email letting them know that they can log in and they can see their pay stubs, W-2s at the end of the year, things like that. So then you would insert, you know, are they hourly, salary, how much they're going to make. You don't, those are essentially you're going to be entering things you don't want the employee to be entering themselves. You know, if you had any workers' comp, division, job class, things like that, you'd enter that at this time. All their tax information is pulled in. So really your job is it's pretty quick on this end. There's not much that you have to enter other than the things, you know, like their salary and things like that. You don't want them entering themselves. So then you're going to hit save. It's going to go back to the list. And then they're in the system now. So that's all that you would need to do. So once they've completed that, there's nothing, you know, there's no more additional steps to get them into the system. So now they're ready for payroll. If they have their direct deposit in there, all that stuff is already saved. All their tax information is already done. So it's much easier and much more seamless than, you know, dealing with paperwork, maybe going back and forth with the employee. It's just less headache all around doing that. So let's see, you can also here, if you need to, you can resend them their activation link. Maybe say, oh, hey, the email is telling, or the employee is telling you, hey, I didn't get this email. Then you would just click on this resend activation link and then they would get that again. So again, another great thing about this is you're consistent. So once you make your template, unless you make changes to that template, then you know every time I send this out to my employees, I'm going to get the same information, the same paperwork's going to be filled out, you're staying compliant, you're staying on top of everything. So really it's just a win-win, less paperwork, less headache for you. So really concluding this about onboarding, again, it's just important to evaluate your process. You know, if you're on edge about this, one thing that we have that we really do all year round is we have a free 30-day trial. So if you're on edge, if you are interested in this, but you're not sure how it will work out or if it's the best for your company, then we do offer a 30-day free trial. So if that's something that you're interested, you can either reach out to me personally or you can reach out to your account manager and we can get that set up for you. You would just need to let us know what paperwork you want your new employees to fill out and we can build that template. So definitely let us know because it's very important, you know, now, you know, that we pay special attention to the culture and retention because you want employees to feel like, oh, they're excited to start because 22% of all turnover happens within the first 45 days of employment. You know, and you've spent all this time and money with marketing, getting them hired and getting them through the door, you want them to stick. So if you know that they already have a good feeling about their job and about starting with your company, then it will help reduce the turnover rate and help them stick with your company. So again, you want to look at your forms, you know, what can you make fillable? It's easy to do through Adobe, and that's something that you would just provide us. You know, and as long as we don't purge any information within the system, so as long as you're with us, the information that we have that the employees upload into their documents, we will keep that in the system. So you don't have to worry about keeping paper forms as well. The electronic forms will suffice for compliance. So, and again, with onboarding, it's just very important. You help stay consistent. It's not just about collecting information. You know, you want that employee to feel like they've made the right choice with your business. And if it's easy to onboard, then they'll already have that a good taste in their mouth, essentially, before they even stepped into your door. You know, we can also automate things like benefits management and training needs. So we really just want to be your partner in your employee management. So we are there for that, and we want to help you accomplish your goals and to make things easier for you. That's what we're here for. And we want to make sure that we are taking advantage of everything the system has for you, because we want you to be successful, we want your employees to be successful, and just all around easier for everyone. So that's really all I had for today. If anyone has any questions, you can feel free to submit them in the chat right now. I'll just wait a minute, see if anyone had any questions or anything they needed to ask. I'm not seeing any. Oh, do we have one? So can we watch it again? Yes, there will be a recording of this, and we will be, should be sending this out to you soon, within 48 hours, I believe. Looks like someone had their hand raised. Sorry, I'm trying to go through. Okay. Penny, looks like you had your hand raised. I'm going to unmute you so you can ask your question. Hi, Penny.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I was typing it in, but I'm kind of slow. Is there any way you can do this where it's just kind of admin level where I input all the information on employees and then send to you and keep up with it? My reason being, we hire people out of prison. Most of them don't have computers, access to any of this when they're first coming out. I sit here and talk to them for like information. I'd much rather be filling it out online than paperwork and having to send it in to you guys. How does that
Yes.
work? Go ahead.
Yes. So instead of onboarding, what you could do, we have so how I showed you the new hire wizard through onboarding, we have a regular new hire wizard that's through the system. So you would use your admin login and you would fill out their information directly into the system. So you wouldn't have to email any of that to us. You wouldn't have to worry about scanning it. You would just enter it directly through the system. So you would click on employee management and you would either go to new hire wizard here or quick hire. And that is where you would enter all your information, all of the employees' information here. So they wouldn't need to do any of it. This is already set up within your system. So if you, and then once you have entered everything, you would just hit save and they would be in the system. So does that answer your question?
Yes. And then after you fill this out and you submit it, it goes to you guys at New Hire also?
So it doesn't actually come to us. It will, as soon as you enter it here, it will be in the system and it will be available for them, if you need to enter anything with payroll, things like that. But it's not like it's emailed to us. We can log in and see that that person's there, but they will automatically be in the system once you've entered it here and saved it.
Okay, kind of understand.
Okay. Okay, Kathy, it looks like you had a question as well. I'll try to unmute you. Well, you're self-muted if you want to unmute yourself. Let's see. I think there's a question in the question box. Can you enter the default to show an EEO that they do not want to enter a preference? I would have to double check on that and for ACA decline as the default as well. I would have to, okay, Kyle, you said what was her question? Her question was, she wanted to know if there was a way to enter employees without doing the onboarding, so the employee didn't have to enter it themselves. You would just do that through the new hire wizard or through quick hire directly into the system. Okay, and then Kathy, let me see if I can unmute you again. Oh, so it looks like you are unmuted right now.
Yeah, I'm here now.
Okay.
I was wondering if there was a way to set it as a default for the EEO and for the ACA, so that they can either click the button that says do not want to enter a preference for the EEO, or for the ACA to hit the decline as the default button.
I would have to double check on that. I think there should be a do not, they don't want to enter a preference. So you're saying you would want that to automatically be selected?
Yeah, I'd like that for the default.
I would have to double check on the system. I'm not sure if that's a capability. I think they would have to physically choose it if that's what they wanted.
Okay, so the default would be a blank?
Well, it won't let them enter, like if we make that, it won't let them continue without entering it. So in order to complete onboarding, they would have to select something.
Okay. And if you don't have the onboarding, like entering it normally as we do, normal employee through entering our stuff here, they would still have to do it that way?
You could make it where it was required. So we can still make it a required field, even if it's not through onboarding. We can require that. So when you're entering it just regular through payroll or, how I show on the screen here, it can be a required field, so we can't do that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's see. Cliff, it looks like you're asking what the pricing structure is. So with onboarding, we do offer that 30 days free. The onboarding is on a PEPM structure. So what that means is per employee per month. So it would be $1 per active employee per month is what the onboarding charge would be. Okay. And then let's see, I got to Kyle. Okay, well, are there any other questions, concerns? Want me to show you something again? Okay. If there are no more questions, then we'll wrap it up for today. Again, my name is Hannah, so you can either reach out to me or your account manager with any questions that you have. We would love to consult with you and see if something like electronic onboarding would work for your employee management. So happy Tuesday, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. If you need anything else, just let us know. Thank you so much for joining.